Welcome to the State of the Commentary Community Address. Welcome all of my loyal listeners here, okay? Everyone, all the biggest fans in the community right here in this J-pop themed space. These NPC commentary robots that have overtaken this community. And Hellbent is the prime example of one of them. You know, a few months ago DJ posted a video or made some kind of comment. I don't even remember what it was about, but I just remember Nick made a reply and it disagreed with him, and then Hellbent went under that reply to Nick and was like, "Yeah, you're so right, Nick. Nick, you're so right here." I think a few tweets after that I blocked them because it pissed me off so badly. It made me so viscerally angry. This person needs to go. I've been saying it for a few months now, and now I'm starting to see it pick up pace here. I don't think Kuihman's community really likes them. I think Chud's community is not really a fan of them either. I don't know how they ended up in this position where Nick is seemingly likes them. I think it was just because of the art. They made mediocre art, and somehow it's allowed them to gain some kind of presence in this community. And I found this out a few months ago too, or a few weeks ago. I don't even know. I've lost track of time at this point. You know where this person came from? It all made sense. It all clicked in my head when I found out this person's origins. This person made the thumbnails for Now Recording. Let that sink in. This person was a Now Recording thumbnail maker. I mean, how much lower can you get than that? If you ever looked at Now Recording's videos and were like, wow, why are all of these thumbnails so unclickable? Now you know, because Hellbent was making them the whole time.
Bunk.
I think Chud Logic needs to be put in his place, dude.
Well, okay, I wouldn't go that far.
I think Chud Logic needs to be staked like that one kid, like the kid who likes Palestine that went on Hasan stream, tweeted about the Jews.
Hold on,
That's what we need to do to Chud Logic, dude.
What did Chud Logic do?
I don't even know.
Dude, because
he's just old.
I agree with his take that that people are way too shilly for H3.
Yeah, no, he's right about that.
But most of his takes are pretty spot on.
Listen, if you're gonna undermine every single point I make, I'm just gonna get rid of you, dude. This is we're not pro anyone here, right? We're pro commentary and we're pro content. And Chud Logic hated the RFC stream and was super mad at it, so we hate Chud Logic.
Was he?
I don't know.
Dude.
I saw that one clip.
It's the finesse stride rage.
Yeah, okay, I'll go back on the Chud Logic, okay? Chud Logic gets a pass. We're fine with Chud Logic, right? But Hellbent's not getting that. Hellbent's gone. I'm curious what the community is going to look like by the end of the year, because fractures are already starting to form. I think everyone's just going to just not have friends. Augie's already going that way. Nick's been doing that for 2 years. Kuihman and Chud kind of snuck in, but and I guess just the Colt kind of too.
Who the fuck is at the end of the day?
It seems like everyone's just kind of going their separate ways again, which is interesting.
I mean, that's kind of okay. Here's the reality with that. That's the best way to do it, because every time any of these dramas happen where one of these people does something fucking retarded, it always becomes, oh, you were this friend, we talked about this privately, this and that, and it's always so gay because it's it doesn't matter at the end of the day. That's the problem with Bo Blacks, is that Bo Blacks made everything super personal for no reason when he's literally just acting like a fucking retard.
Why is Aiden? Should I let Aiden in, dude? Do you think he has anything to add?
Yeah, I bet he's got a lot to contribute.
Let's get him in here, dude.
Except the little purple hearts.
All right, I hit accept. Did it work?
Yo, is this PetoCon?
Yep.
This is PetoCon.
How you doing, baby girl?
Cowards.
Dude.
You want to know the state of the community? It's this. It's people who are too scared to piss off the rest of the group chat or the space, whatever space they're actively in. They take the popular position.
All right, Aiden, what side are you on?
Anyone who has any nuanced opinion, anyone who has any nuanced opinion is a contrarian. What side am I on? I am on the side of righteousness, of justice, total Kuihman Total Kuihman gang, Ape Krieg support.
What the fuck is Ape Krieg?
We love Hasan. We love Bad Empanada. We stand with Hasan and Bad Empanada. Great people. Very fine people. Problem?
I agree with everything you just said.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
Now, since you started talking, Lumpy Willie actually won soon, so I'm gonna let him in here.
Yeah, I just wanted to hear that you agree with me, but.
Well, let Lumpy Willie get to what he wants to say. You know, he might have something to say to you.
Hello.
How you doing, Lumpy Willie?
Hey, it's come to my attention that you hate confrontation from the people that you're calling out. Why do you have Hellbent blocked while actively shit-talking her and not allowing her to come on
Whoa!
screen?
Bro, wait. Hold on. You came in here to shit on me?
Dude, let's be honest.
Are you making a good point, Willie?
Look. We have to be realistic here, okay? We have to. No. Wait, here. Look, if we're gonna call out people, we have to stay. What's it called? We have to stay based with our takes, okay? If anybody else was doing what Nick was doing, blocking people he doesn't like, blocking people who retweet like little shitter posts. If it was anyone else in the community, you all would be shitting on this person. You all shit on Boblex for doing the exact same thing.
Hold
I am sick
I need
and
you to
tired.
Hold on,
I'm
Lumpy
sick
Willie. I need
and
you to stop
tired
right there.
of these double standards
Lumpy
in the
Willie.
community.
Lumpy Willie, I need you.
Shut it down.
Lumpy Willie, I need you to shut up for real quick, okay? Because what you've said greatly offended me. You're saying, oh, if anyone else is doing what Nick's doing, you'd call it out. Listen, I've been blocked by Nick. I've been there.
He's been there.
But
when, like 5 years ago?
Probably at this point. Listen.
Yeah, come on.
Nick's blocking has been a point of contention for many years, but I'll tell you this. Greater people than Hellbent and like Kuihman and fucking Gisticle have gone after him and failed, all right? I'm not willing to step up to that.
Right, well, Gisticle's like a
fight. Look at Aiden. Aiden tried doing it 5 years ago, and he's been relegated as the community's like 13-year-old fucking little sister.
Well, Aiden fell off like when he was 12.
You're wrong.
So.
You're wrong. Not the community, your community. And what you guys don't realize is your little bubble is getting smaller and smaller. Gone are the days of the RFC hive mind.
No, listen, I agree.
The pedophiles, the creeps.
The RFC community has been on a downward trend, mostly because the person who has RFC as like their name hasn't streamed in like fucking 10 years. But I don't think that's true for Nick. How many viewers is Nick polling again, Aiden? And how many are you polling? Wait, it would seem to me that Nick is on an upward trend.
And okay, do I have to really break this one down for you?
Break it down for me.
Do you think this is like the growth of a genuine community, or perhaps like people that are like tourists for one particular drama?
How many of those tourists do you think will, or how many do you think that every single viewer that's found him is going to abandon him as soon as he like makes another H3 video?
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what I just said. Yeah, spot on. Great translation.
I feel like he might lose like, even if he lost fucking like 4,000 people, he'd still have 2,000 people in his chat, right?
He would have 1K live viewers, which is good. That's like Chud's size.
I think he's a little bit bigger than Chud.
Right now, yes.
In mass and viewers. No, just like an overall kind of like
I think
he has no, well, it was both. I think he has, I mean, this is a gay conversation.
Did you guys know Dioreo's fat? I didn't know that
this is like a glaze fest conversation. I don't like these kinds of conversations, but if this is what you want to do with your time, I think Nick probably has like a better potential to hold more viewers longer than fucking Chud, right? Like he probably like if, over natural growth, he'd probably hit like 3K. I mean, he has.
Are you? I think. You're watching his streams?
No, I don't watch Nick's streams.
Wait, why not?
I don't like him.
You don't like his streams?
Mm-mm.
Why not?
I think I like more laid back streams, and like I think I mean the truth is, right? I've kind of come to a point where I can come up with my own takes based.
Is that really the reason?
I don't need to watch other people do it. No, you know what? All right, what's the reason, Aiden?
Because maybe, and this is just like a crazy idea. I'm just throwing it out there. It's just a wild idea. Maybe, your average person doesn't want to watch coverage of the same drama for a fucking year. Maybe the average person gets tired of that after a while.
That's not. I haven't watched Nick's streams ever. But I don't think that's even true because Nick's pulling like 6K when he covers H3 and like other people.
6,000 slop watching, hole in brain morons who can't think critically about anything.
Hold on.
They couldn't think critically to save their life.
Aiden, you said most people. Most people are fucking retard, hole in brain, fucking like slop enjoyers.
No.
Like
no. True. What is it? Dude, is Diorio next, dude? Are you guys all gunning for him? Are you gonna team up with the G Stalker and
Okay, this is the other problem too. Why is J Stock's name even being mentioned? Okay, people.
I
this
saw
is
Twitter
like
clip of him
no.
the other
This
day.
is like this is a very like concerted psyop to like conflate like the criticism with J Stock. J Stock streams. Hold on.
I need a clarification real quick. Is this a serious
J
contention
Stock
you have with him?
streams. J Stock streams to nobody. He doesn't like. He gets like no viewers. Okay.
I agree. Is this a real like? Are you giving real takes right now, or is this bait?
Anybody else? Right now?
What have I said so far that doesn't sound?
No. Listen, Is this like haha fatty we're going down, or is this a genuine like?
When did I ever?
This is a real. Fatty going down has been like the joke of the community for like 6 years now. So I need to clarify.
You're the only guy that made a fat joke.
True, dude. Is this a serious point of contention you're having right now?
Yeah, I've made these are my serious feelings.
Okay, so your serious feelings are that Nick is pro. What is he too pro Ethan, and that's your problem, and you don't like that?
No, my problem.
Listen.
My gripes lie less with the Oreo and more with the side in its entirety. Okay, the pro Ethan side in its entirety, and I've said this before. It just so happens Diorio is the most easily accessible representative of this side in this immediate sphere. But the pro Ethan side in general at this point is just like enabling like what is ultimately going to be like a 3-year fucking crash out. It's never going to end. It's never going to end. He needs to like.
Do you think Ethan's in the wrong?
In what regard? In what regard? Do I think he's in the wrong for wait? Do I think he's in the wrong for when he, by his own words, a rabid fan base of people that are threatening his safety are after him, and he decides to show his children's faces on stream, knowing that this rabid audience is coming after him? Do I think he's in the wrong for that, or do I think he's in the wrong for randomly throwing out allegations that Anissa was like some sort of like a phebophile or pedophile and then immediately retracting them? But the problem was there was no basis to spout them to begin with. Or do I think he's wrong? Or do I think he's wrong for placing unreasonable expectations upon iDubbbz, expecting him to publicly get involved in one of the most polarized, unhinged dramas of the last few years? And by iDubbbz taking even the most nuanced position, one side would assume that he's affirming the other, and he would have a rabid fan base, whether it be from Hasan's side or Ethan's side after him. Do you think he's in the wrong for that? Yes. I think he's in the wrong for all of those things and more.
I don't even disagree with any of that.
Okay.
I mean, I think you can, but I think there's another side that people can also see, right? Like this is iDubbbz is like his longtime associate, and he's also been associated with fucking Hasan, right? And when Hasan's community is going after him, is going after Ethan, and like at some point, someone who probably was watching someone's content or someone who just knew of the situation called CPS. And when he's supporting Bad Empanada, I think it's also kind of reasonable to call upon your friend and say, hey, what the fuck?
Alex,
but I don't think that was probably the right thing to do either, because he was obviously like, that wasn't going to go well, right?
Wait, I have a question. I have a question.
Go ahead.
Let's assume a hypothetical here. Let's say you genuinely believe that there is a child that is in unsafe conditions. Even if you're like a moron for believing it, let's say you actually believe that. Okay?
Yep.
Should you call CPS?
Yeah, but I don't think any of these people genuinely thought that.
Well, first of all, we don't know who made the call. Second of all, he was the one making statements that would allude to a fucking moron that is like kids were living in unfit conditions. So it is actually totally plausible that some moron on the internet was actually concerned about the welfare of his children and made a call to CPS. Do I think there was reason for concern? No, not really. But
that's fucking retarded. I don't think anyone should be like, even Okay, Aiden, I really think that your kid, just based on how you spoke out on Discord, I think your child, I think it's living in shit. I don't think that doesn't give me cause to fucking go and call CPS.
Hold on.
Some kind of
do you realize what's wrong with the comparison you just made? If I was to make a statement to you, if I was to make a statement to you that I'm too lazy to put the food away and all the food is like molding, and oh, this week my kids have become afflicted with some illness that's specifically associated with consumption of mold, then yeah, like you might be concerned about having my kids in unfit conditions.
Dog should just sit around, or did he say the dog like pooped in the house, which was what dogs fucking do, right? Like when you get a new puppy or you have like an older dog, it's just gonna shit in the
dog isn't a right. The dog isn't a puppy, right?
Okay, dog shit in the house, even if
you could walk it, or you could walk it, and if it's incontinent, you could give it a diaper.
Dude. I mean, yes, you can do that.
Diapers for dogs exist.
Yeah, I know they exist.
Believe it or not,
you can do that. But do you think it's a bit unreasonable to call CPS because your dog? You said like, yeah, my dog shit in the house. Do you think that's unreasonable?
But he also said, didn't he also announce to the world that his like kids were afflicted with some parasite or condition that's like associated with dog shit?
Yeah, he did. That still doesn't give you cause to call kids get
sick. So if
sick.
you believe
kids get sick.
Wait. So if you hold on,
this is like a
kind of
thing to kind
of hold on. If you hear statement,
you're kind of wrong about the Giardia thing, because it's not. I mean, it can come from animals, but it can come from like literally any surface being contaminated ever.
Yeah, like
I know there are other sources. I know it's not.
No, but he said
that's why I said
Aiden's saying that he said that he not spawned out. He said I think H3 said like the dog shit in the house.
Yeah,
and like Aiden is saying people heard that. And then they said, "Oh, okay, well that gives me cause to fucking call CPS because
it's gonna do that.
Dog's been in the house."
Like it doesn't. That's not.
Well, none of us are medical experts. He's saying like, yeah, that some moron might have thought like genuinely the kids are at harm. I don't think. Which is why you shouldn't.
Which is why you shouldn't be telling.
I don't think there was enough evidence to think that. Like even if someone was so stupid to think that. Like, and they genuinely thought it. I don't think it should be like defended either.
What Ethan
I don't think
said,
I don't think it should be. I don't think people should act like it was a reasonable thing for someone to do. Stupid people exist, but if they do something unreasonable, it's still unreasonable.
I wouldn't have personally called CPS, but for the moron that misinterpreted it, I think it's like I think it's totally partially Ethan's fault.
No, because what Ethan said. He probably shouldn't have gotten into his personal life on the internet, but it wasn't something where it was like...
so he's partially to blame.
A little bit, yeah. I would actually agree with you there, but it's like a dog does something normal, and then his kid does something normal, and that led to that happen. It's not like something where it's like unsafe conditions in the home. And it's like the people, I'd say like probably the audience is not responsible, but the people who are spreading that rumor, like Bad Empanada, Denims and all that, that was absolutely on them because they definitely know better that a dog's going to do that. Fucking kid's gonna do that.
What's your criticism of Denims?
Well, Denims platformed it and then just got a bunch of shit wrong.
Like what?
Well, let's see. So when the actual CPS call happened,
kids' memories.
Yeah, that's just entirely wrong. She literally read where it said it.
Yeah, but we're talking pre-CPS call. Like, what did she do that contributed to the actual calling of CPS? Well, what she got wrong after the fact is irrelevant.
She platformed Bad Empanada in the video where it was clip chimped at, and just didn't push back at all on the claims.
She was going like, oh, dude, every time I hear about Ethan Klein, it's just like, how is this happening?
Imagine if I played a video, like I have a 1,000-viewer stream, I play a video that's just
That was a good answer. That was a good answer because a certain someone, we're not going to name names, certain someone in their video said that Denims encouraged her chat to call CPS. Now, I personally... You're right. You are totally right. I wanted to see if you were going to answer.
Did they verbatim say H3 said that? Wait,
no, not H3. Not H3. A certain creator promoted by the pro Ethan people by the name of Cameron F305.
Oh, that guy,
in his content cop. In his content cop.
We hate that guy. I hope you know Aiden.
No, we hate him now. We hate him now. But then I go. But then I go.
The video when it came
out. But then I go. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that's.
We always hated.
Although I hated it because it was boring, though. I didn't catch that detail. Yeah, I mean that's probably you could, I guess you can criticize Ethan for promoting that video, I guess, but I mean it's not that strong of a point.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about Ethan himself saying, which even Ethan, I'd agree that that's a dumb point to make.
I think it's a pretty big deal to like accuse someone of encourage, like if the implication or what's being stated is that the CPS call was false, okay, to then say that Denims encouraged the chat to make that call, you're alleging that Denims was encouraging people to like waste the time of
Yeah, I don't think that
CPS,
that's a.
which is a pretty big accusation.
I don't think
Like,
that's
to
a
be
fair
clear.
attribution. I think that what she did was just played a video that was just completely slanderous and didn't push back at all.
And wasn't yes, I agree. That would be the
Yeah,
yes. But then that comes down to my other criticism of the pro Ethan side, which is just like, and it's the same problem with the snarkers on the anti Ethan side. They're just throwing shit at the wall
yeah.
to see what sticks, and in the process, they're getting shit wrong. Okay, Ethan did it the other night with Anissa, and it is this will never like. Let's just be clear, if Ethan is going to respond to every like 50 viewer like fucking Andy that mentions him on his Instagram account, this like will never
Oh,
end. We'll be talking about this 3 years from
I
now.
think when it comes to like just like purely Ethan versus Hasan as like two things, I think Ethan's like way more in the right. But I think Ethan's done a bunch of stupid shit that he just doesn't get called out for. I think like the whole like snark thing, it's like, yeah, there's a bunch of deranged people on here, but it's like a subreddit. Like anyone can post on there. It's not like some coordinated thing, really. It's just, oh,
What do you guys think about Ela Klein's
Wait,
IDF service?
hold on. Okay, I actually do you have like a timestamp of Cameron saying like, yeah, she fucking promoted, she what you said encouraged, right? Do you have that
Encouraged, yep.
timestamp?
Yeah, I don't have the timestamp on hand.
No,
I could.
if I look up encouraged in this video, I'm not trying to like gotcha. I want to see the clip because
Yeah.
I looked up Denims and there's one that says like there's one in the transcript that says Denims who have promoted malicious misinformation that has directly led to real life harassment. That one's at 6 minutes. This one's not related to that. This is the panel. And of course, Denims reacted to it and promoted the idea of CPS. So promoted the idea of CPS being called through her chat. So I want to see what it does here. I'm watching the clip. That's really correct. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't show a clip of her like promoting CPS being called. So that, yeah, he's just like, I guess
She didn't do it.
Yeah. So that's like a retarded point. I don't know if you could. I mean, some people might think that's just like.
Well, another retard.
I think this is like, you're correct. I think. I mean, it's like a bad thing, I guess, but I think you could also break it down to like a miswording. Also, I don't know if it was a malicious lie, right?
yeah, his video was very poor and like all around.
Yeah, and I mean, I've criticized the video for being.
Well, also okay. There's the other.
Hold on, can
there's other like big talking points that are just like really stupid. Like everyone's like, look, Anissa said she's 8% Arab, therefore she can't be half Lebanese. Not realizing that like Lebanon is a nation. Lebanese is a nationality, not an ethnicity, and Lebanon until the 1940s was under European colonial rule, so Lebanese people are mixed, and it's totally plausible that she had a father that is mixed Arab and European, and culturally Lebanese, which would
but she's self-identified as only 8% Arab, and she's Canadian.
Yeah,
she's
well, yeah. So wait, but how is that like contradictory? How is that contradictory to the statement of being half Lebanese?
I mean, it's like, okay, you're from Canada. You don't have that much, like, you're taking 8% Arab, like, genetically.
No, but it's not like she's 8% Lebanese, because it's a nationality.
No, you're not letting me finish, Hayden. You're fucking stalling out. She is using her Arab, like, identity for that, not just being Lebanese. It's like, that was the whole thing with that, and she's barely Arab. Just because her nationality is Lebanese doesn't mean that.
Wait, hasn't her statement, like when it's been invoked, hasn't the statement been that she's half Lebanese?
I think in iDubbbz's video, yeah, but other times I believe it was Arab.
Where?
Like on Twitter and shit.
I mean, there's that one Discord screenshot,
yeah,
right?
But that's her. No, wait. That Discord screenshot is the thing we're talking about. Her admitting to being 8% Arab. But Spondell's claiming she invokes some sort of Arab identity to like have some like sort of credence to what she's saying. So I'm asking like when she's done that.
Well, I mean that's literally. I mean, okay, even if you want to go into this, she's talking about her her Lebanese nationality for like talking about the oppression and shit like that. And she's from Canada, So I don't like. Okay, like you know what I mean? Like, what's that got to do with anything at that point?
Wait, hold on. Why is Kuihman not allowed to speak?
Oh, he can come in. I don't like letting I don't flood people in here when there's like a discussion. I'll let him in.
Oh, come on, man.
I'll here snuggle on it in too. I didn't want to like flood. I don't know if he's for you or against you. I didn't want to like add people in here when there's already 2 people.
He's against me.
I didn't want to like fucking rape you or something.
Hey, Alex, you're falling on the sword, dude. You're falling on the sword. That is useless. Dude. That is so sad.
So
the 8% Arab thing. So that was brought up in response to iDubbbz's content cop, where he said basically that the whole premise of this drama is Ethan and Healer saying, "You lefties don't give us enough empathy because we're from Israel, so of course we like Israel." That's the whole premise here. So Ian basically responds, well, you're expecting Anissa or I to speak up on this drama when obviously like Anissa's got a lot of feelings about this sort of thing, has been told a lot of things about Israel growing up because she's half Lebanese. And people take issue with that presentation of half Lebanese by saying, well, actually, on your 23andMe, you're 8% Arab. But that's not actually responding to that point because, as Aiden said, Lebanon was under European rule. Many people in Lebanon are mixed between Arab and European. And if your dad was born and raised in Lebanon, you would refer to yourself as half Lebanese.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
So it just doesn't make any sense for everyone to suddenly turn into like hard geneticists when it comes to race. Like, I understand what it's like saying, you know, I don't know what a comparison would be, but like saying someone's not American because they're, you know, fucking German or something. It's like so retarded. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, and ironically enough, this same argument can be used by like the anti-Israeli crowd because yes, there is like a level of indigenousness to the land by people who are ethnically Jewish, but because of like mixing or whatever, the percentage I think amongst like Ethan's Ashkenazi is it's not like they're 100%. Like they're only partially like the DNA is only partially native to the Levant. So
yeah,
like we're talking about a nationality here.
One thing I just heard you guys saying before I managed to get in to speak was about the CPS call. Now, I don't think the person who called was likely reasonable. I think it probably was malicious. However, one thing you guys were kind of missing out was that while Ethan said he was joking about a minute later, he didn't just say the dog shit in my house. He went on extensively about how you would have to eat shit to get Giardia, and specifically you would have to eat his shit, is what he said to the crew. So
I think the spread, I think for him to spread Giardia to them, they would have to.
Yeah.
So,
I think. I think.
While I think it was done maliciously, I think you should behave as a content creator who has 50,000 current viewers, as if there are crazy people watching you, and not say things that could implicate the safety of your children.
That was probably that one I'd say is on Ethan if he was saying like, because that's not true what he said. So
yeah, exactly. He said it was a joke afterwards, and that's not true about Giardia. And you could figure that out if you looked up. Like if you were truly concerned about these kids, you could just go look up like how does Giardia spread, and you could know that this isn't necessarily true.
I just think,
but the reality is you've given people that rope to hang you with.
Yeah,
when you go out on your podcast, you say that.
The whole point iDubbbz made about how it might have been a concerned audience member at the time, that's just entirely unlikely. Just based on like the spacing between the clips, that's just like you'd have to be like lying legitimately if you believe that all of a sudden.
You'd have to be someone that's concerned enough to call CPS but not look into it at all.
Yeah, that's it.
I think it's entirely a
snark as well. Like blaming it on any specific community or content creator or something like that when we don't have clear evidence for who called them. I think that's kind of fucked. I don't think. While I agree that Denim's like probably spread misinfo or something, I don't think she did anything that's particularly far outside of the range of normal content creator stuff.
Yeah, not anything beyond what Ethan himself has done in like regards to the extent of like uncritical platform.
Nick's done, what whoever's done. You know, everyone has played videos where some other content creator is making unverified clip chimp claims and they haven't done their due diligence in checking it.
I think though the problem with it, with specifically Denims, is just like there was no like questioning at all. It was just like, yeah, this is like a definitively true statement. And I feel like most other streamers know that when you're making unverified claim, like, or you're listening to unverified claims, you have to put a grain of salt on them at least in some capacity.
Well, I don't think Denim's ever actually made any firm statements about Ethan. She sort of let Bad Empanada's video play and sat there going like, "Whoa, Ethan's so crazy! Whoa!"
Yeah.
So like that wasn't.
That's in turn sort of confirming. It's not like her saying, "Well, if this is true," it's her saying, "Wow, this is bad. Wow, this is
Wait,
bad."
but hold on. This, like, yes, this did result. This, we don't know if this is what resulted in the CPS call, but let's assume for a moment it did, right? The action or the thing that she'd engaged in isn't unique, and I can even invoke Diorio as an example. When Aristocracy was when the skulls got sent to Ethan's house, Aristocracy tweeted out or replied, "The 2 skulls. Ethan has 2 kids. This is clearly a threat against his kids." And like Nick was like, "Wow, yeah, I didn't even think about that." Kind of responding uncritically in the same way that Denims had initially responded to the Bad Empanada claims or whatever. Of course, upon realizing that Ethan does not have 2 kids, he has 3, the replies in question were deleted. But this is something that happens like quite frequently, and Denims didn't engage until except.
Do you think there's a difference between engaging with the tweet and being like, wait, and then like watching like a video that's like dedicated to spreading like, yeah, dude, his kids are like eating shit.
I think it's worse with a tweet.
These are 2 different kinds of situations.
I think it's worse with the tweet. I think it's worse actually.
And then you're fucking retarded. Holy shit!
When you look at something and it's like, okay, it's like here's something bad that happened, and then here's someone saying something that's sort of like it adds to, but it's really not like it's on kind of nothing burger detail at the end of the day with like what it is, which is like skulls being sent. Whether or not what that's in reference to.
Also, it's like you're not actually when that statement's made about the skulls. It's we don't know who sent the skulls, so the statement isn't actually being made about any specific person.
Yeah.
Whereas in the case of Denims and Bad Empanada, they're making specific statements about Ethan, and they are potentially actionable. So I don't think it's comparing the tweet to the shit-eating videos.
One's like an interpretation, the other one's just someone making like definitively untrue statements.
Well, I mean, Aristocracy did make definitive.
Yeah, that's Well, yeah,
but yeah, Nick just sort of like wasn't that sold. I don't really blame Nick for that tweet. What I do blame Nick for, however, is constantly saying he doesn't get involved in the politics of stuff when he's constantly making statements about politics. I'm sick of him saying he only covers the drama when day one of the shooting, literally hours after the bodies were fucking, taken to the fucking morgue, this guy's on Twitter saying it's a disgusting anti-Semitic hate crime. Which it wasn't. The more evidence that comes out, it seems like it was not a hate crime. It was a terrorist attack, but it does not seem to have been a hate crime.
Yeah, I mean that's retarded. I don't watch all of his coverage. I don't watch most of it, but like even when I watch a little bit, he's making statements about he might not like go into like Destiny fucking Wikipedia research, but he's obviously like talking about the fucking conflict, right? He's talking about the politics. That's just retarded. Although, do you think it'd be reasonable to interpret that as like he's just like he's not gonna like debate Palestine with someone? He's not like gonna like go into like a deep like fucking like research arc onto it. He's just gonna like make a statement
he's passing judgment on parts of the drama that require you to understand a piece of the politics.
Was that like the debate?
What do you mean the debate?
He didn't cover it, right?
In the debate, yes, there was lots of stuff like that. Yes, but it's not just that. One of the fundamental issues here at play is basically, is Ethan a Zionist? The lefties think he is. He felt like he wasn't at the start. I think he claims to not be. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've heard Nick say he's not a Zionist. He's just not pro-Palestine enough for them. Yet the other day I speak to Lonerbox, and Lonerbox tells me, no, absolutely, Ethan's a Zionist. So I wouldn't say I think Ethan's a Zionist. I don't know enough about his exact like true beliefs because it's hard to tell from his show when he's just spending all of his time crying about Palestine activists. But the idea that his top guy is calling him a Zionist, yet all of commentary, or at least Nick, has rallied behind Nick's. No, Ethan's not a Zionist. These lefties are crazy. That's like a very key part of this. That's like what it's all built around. But for some reason, with any critical analysis of that has been completely thrown out.
Well, I think it's because, like, overall with the drama, it's sort of this overlap between drama and politics with it, because Hasan's a political streamer, and so it gets into like people who aren't informed in politics having to get into it, and they say shit, and they probably don't know exactly what it means, and it's on them for that. But I think that's like the whole thing with it. Like, Lonerbox is definitely way more politically informed about that type of shit compared to Nick, just in general. And I guess Nick shouldn't make like such hardline statements about it. I think Ryan Beard, he's making like a video that's going to criticize Ethan for, I guess, his like Zionist positions or whatever.
Yeah. So
I guess my response to that would be I would want like Lonerbox to explain why, or like preferably I'd want Lonerbox to go down like a list of questions to Ethan, and like at the end, if he has like 90% of them, he's like, oh yeah, you hit the Zionist checklist. Because I feel like Zionism has been thrown around like a bunch, and like, you know, sometimes like obviously like
someone's a Zionist. What he's saying is that they believe his bare minimum is that you think right now Israel should be allowed to maintain its Jewish majority in its borders. That's like the baseline of that's like the least you have to be a Zionist. I disagree with that definition. I've got a higher standard for what I think a Zionist is, because if you say that's a Zionist, then Arafat was a Zionist because he believed in a two-state solution where Israel had control over the borders and ethnic majority. But it doesn't. It's not like here or there. My point is more that there are a bunch of people going around saying like super flattering statements about whether he is or isn't when they've got no fucking idea. And like the whole drama is like built on this fundamental.
I guess you kind of just said it, right? Like, you both have different definitions of Zionist, or like the bar to reach it. So do you think like Nick just like has his own definition? He came to it like off stream, and he's just not going to go into it on stream?
No. I think Nick is purely just playing the Ethan side.
Well, I just want to clarify so it doesn't get taken out of context. I wasn't also super critical of Nick for the Skulls reply. I was making that as a comparison for how the uncritical kind of like instantaneous belief of false claims like is something that commonly occurs. Not that I think that it's like some exceptionally bad thing, but it fucking happens, and to act like, you know, Denims is like an egregious person and to blame as a result of this.
I think they're like different situations, and I don't think they're directly comparable. But I mean,
just because
not even directly comparable. I don't think they're like the same.
They're obviously not the same.
Hold on. I don't think they can be used as like an example to like say, hey, look, Nick does this too, or like I don't think.
Well, if the point is a reply to false claims without criticism, then yes, the two things are comparable. If you want to broaden the scope to say
broaden it so much for like it's like retarded, you can, but I think
that's not really retarded. That's not retarded at all, right? Because it's the same mindset. It's the same exact mindset involved in each instance.
I think if Nick was watching a video and like someone was going into like, dude, Ethan has two, like this was like a main point of a video, and Nick didn't like, he was like, wow, dude, is that true? This would be a comparable situation, but it's not. It was one tweet and it was like,
no, it was but the mindset, right? But the point is attesting to the mindset and how this is something that can just very easily happen, and the mindset is the same for both.
I think Nick would look into it more if it was a main point. The mindset.
Was she presenting it? Was she presenting it as a main point?
Wasn't the whole video? Wasn't like most of the video dedicated to fucking this kid shit? Like this was like a main point of the video, right? Of that video, which she platformed and like just like watched. I was like, wow, dude, wow.
I thought you meant the main point of Denim's contention with him.
Hold on. I think we're getting mixed up here.
The main point of the aristocracy tweet was that Ethan has two kids, the two skulls are a threat as a result of this.
Yeah, that was the main point of that tweet, but this wasn't a
yeah, so you're saying Nick would be more critical was the main point.
Argument, and all like a video that he wasn't like watching, he pulled it up on stream and was just like, wow, is that true? And like pull it off, right? Like, and like if he found out later, dude, it wasn't true, he'd be like, oh wow, I guess I fucked up. Right? Like these aren't the same.
Okay, if you want to say
the video, it just
if like, you want to say that
and then didn't and then
wait.
Hold on, go ahead.
If you want to say they differ in how they'd handle knowing that they got it wrong, sure. That's not even what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's very easy. It's very easy.
I'm saying that like I'm 100% sure if this was like a main point in a video and then like Nick would, because this is just a tweet. He's obviously not spending like.
It is not. It is nothing. It doesn't even.
Amount of time
Wait. You realize also as well. I brought that up as and the example still works. I'm not backing away from it, but I brought that up as an example for something that I think everyone has done. If you cover shit, I think everyone has done that at one point or another.
I think if Nick was watching a video that was making like slanderous points, he would fact check it live. I don't think Denims didn't do that. I'm pretty sure.
I'm not making a point about Diorio. Dude, you're so autistic.
We're talking about Diorio.
No, that was an example to prove that this is something that happens. That was a specific example. I could go and find another one from someone else if you want. That's not a character testament to Diorio specifically.
I don't think it's a good example. Because we're talking about Diorio, and I don't think that example.
No. Okay. The variables that you're bringing up in regards to Diorio would like make sense if I was using this to like bash his character. The point was that this is like something that commonly occurs within the space of coverage, and I agree it shouldn't happen.
Yeah,
but to act like it's some exceptional bad is I feel like a little stupid. And Diorio was a specific example. The example for what I'm trying to.
Examples of like, people watching like slanderous videos on stream and then like just eating the slop up, because I'd agree with you that those creators are as bad as Denims, but that's not what Nick did.
Sure, it didn't like half the community like cover watch the guy who made, and this wasn't just a Cheeto, by the way, it was multiple people, but didn't like half the community fucking talk about how Sniper Wolf DMCA'd or copyright claimed this kid, and it turns out that just never happened. And everyone just accepted it as fact because it was Sniper Wolf.
I don't remember who covered that or who said what. I know a Cheeto did it. I know a bunch of
Cheeto, Dumpy, Sense of Society, and then I think there were a few people I think there were a few others as well.
Yeah, and that was bad.
Yes, but yes, I agree. Yeah. But my point is, yes,
criticizable.
Yes, completely.
Well, then what are you saying about Denims?
Is that this isn't some like exceptional thing like to her? This is something that actually happens like pretty like it's like actually fairly common.
Yeah, I think people who
we should criticize it absolutely, but to blame her, but to blame her for the CPS call, I feel like is like a fucking jump.
I mean, Aiden, okay, hold on. I feel like your comparison's kind of shit though, because it's like, okay, one is like a commentary subject, Sniper Wolf doing like copyright abuse, and the other one is like a way more serious thing. So it's like covering one kind of passively compared to another is very different. Like I criticize all those people for the Sniper Wolf thing, but at the same time, I care about that a lot less than like Denim's doing.
People are saying that Sniper Wolf should like be banned and shit. But
that is illegal, right? What she was being accused of, right?
I forget what I was gonna say. I think
yeah, the two comparisons are not always gonna be fucking identical. Like, no, yes,
obviously I know. I don't think they're within the same realm.
The Sniper Wolf shit and Denims?
The Sniper Wolf, because I think there was
you weren't satisfied with the Diorio comparison, so I brought up another one to prove the point that the uncritical coverage of certain claims, whether that be on Twitter or, as I brought up another example, on YouTube, is something that actually happens quite common, and especially in this community. That was my point.
So is your point that? So your point's it's not uniquely fucking.
It's not unique to Denims, no. But can we criticize it? Absolutely. But to say that, I'm
so confused because I don't. Are people saying that? People aren't saying that this is like, dude.
I wouldn't say people saying it's unique to Denims, but there's definitely an attitude where it feels like standards have been warped, where we now place like endless responsibility on these lefty creators for things we wouldn't place responsibility on ourselves for. So yes. I'm sure plenty of us have made comments like, oh, this Boblax guy is fucking insane. This guy needs like a wellness check or something. Or this guy's been on suicide watch or some shit like that at some point. If not about Boblax, then about someone. But in this situation, because something bad ended up happening, that's a big problem. Like you could even say on like KF, I'm sure people accuse Keffels of being like some fucking groomer or some shit like that, or saying like, oh, this trans person probably talks to kids or whatever. And you could easily build up sort of like an image where someone might use that as sort of like schizo fuel to go and swat her. But then we wouldn't place the burden for that swatting on all the people that were talking about it beforehand, and we didn't when that happened.
Yeah,
for Denims, for Snark,
that's an interesting example, because I think like people like Big Bungie call Keffel as a pedo, right? And people watch those videos on stream. But from what I've seen, most of like the bigger creators, or at least people like Nick, they've always gone out of their way to clarify when they're covering that kind of content. Okay, I don't think she's a pedo.
Right? Nick was just an example, dude.
But we're talking about Nick.
Oh my.
And we're right. Like Nick, you said Nick is like the fucking like. He's like the big face of like this broader like.
Okay, I'm trying to think of like.
That was in a separate conversation. We've had multiple conversations and throughout the course of this broader discussion. And then when I brought up the example, I said we can even use Nick as an example of this to show that that was just an example of a behavior that's like common and not specific to Nick. But you're like getting autistically like hyperfixating on that one on that specific example. So then I gave you another one.
I'm gonna try and build up sort of like a comparison for you here. Like Keffel's, like, so she gets accused of like this exact phrase will be used, right? Keffel's gives bathtub HRT to minors. That's not technically true, is it really? She doesn't give bathtub HRT to minors. It's not bathtub HRT. What she did was she had a website that had a DIY guide on how to order HRT from different sellers in different countries, and also how to mix it yourself. And she gave access to a wiki that allowed you to see that information. She didn't give bathtub HRT to minors, and actually giving controlled substances to minors would be an insane crime. However, we were all okay with that presentation. But if someone, say, gets a video and says, Ethan Klein's house is full of shit. His dog shit everywhere. Look at all these clips of his dog shitting everywhere. Look at him saying that his dog shit everywhere. His house is covered in shit, and you have to eat your shit to get giardia. That's all of a sudden the big problem. If you say Ethan Klein's house is covered in shit, and we would now place responsibility on you for something bad that happened, when really those two claims are actually pretty similar. It's building off of a basis of truth and statements made by the person to create a more malicious, direct criticism, right? But we do have a symmetry of standards in those two cases.
I think that's a fair comparison. That's fair. I've said I think the whole like H3 glazing is like cringe. I got caught up on the Nick stuff. I mean, I think I think a part of it is kind of like the reaction afterward as well, right? Like, do you because like let's say Keffel's got swatted, and like Keffel's did get swatted, and like a bunch of people weren't like celebrating that, I don't think, or at least not people in this space, right? And I guess that's just there probably is a double standard, I guess.
I haven't been Hasan and Denims, they denounced the CPS call, and I think like Bad Empanada obviously celebrated it, but honestly, I don't like. I'm unsure why Ethan is even mentioning Bad Empanada. It seems like a very like a losing strategy, and he's only going to get bigger from this. It doesn't seem like YouTube is banning him, so.
Yeah, I said Bad Empanada kind of won because you can't really do anything to him. People have like
there's no laws in Argentina.
Ran from him for years are just like saying his name now. I'd be curious to see how like I guess people like Nick would respond to what you're saying. I don't know enough about the situation at this point anymore to be able to like combat what you're saying. So it all sounds fair to me. I'd be curious what he says. I don't know. I guess that's where I'm kind of. I feel like the H3 glazing is cringe. I think, but I have a bad impression of him from like years ago, and the way he acts nowadays is like also cringe. Like I think all the tactics he's using are like the same shit we kind of didn't like back in the day. I think what people would say to that is like, well, the people that he's doing it to also did this shit to people. So I think like that's kind of where a lot of people come from.
When I could be crazy here. I could just be forgetting a bunch of shit. Hasan has definitely defamed people, smeared people. Has Hasan ever done like sponsorship campaigns, like trying to target a specific sponsor or get a specific person banned, or?
I can't name a specific example right now.
I can't think of one. I can't think of one. I've not been able.
The only thing I could think of was the only thing I could maybe think of was if he was involved in the gambling stuff. But that's not exactly the same thing.
Yeah, he was making comments about gambling, but I agree that was a virtue signal,
exactly
but yeah, it's not.
thing.
I think saying that gambling promotion should be banned from that is a very different thing. It's like saying you shouldn't be able to promote heroin on Twitch or something like.
Yeah, I mean, I've never liked the whole sponsorship brigade shit. When Ethan did it in 20, that's part of the reason why I don't like Ethan. I think how he acted in 2020 was like fucking insane, and like people kind of forgetting that nowadays. But I don't know, like I don't like Ethan. I'd be curious to like some of the stuff you're talking about with like the double standards and stuff. I think that would be an interesting conversation with people who are more informed.
Yeah, sure.
Because like obviously
so,
I'll just
so I mean, if you
I
don't want
to kind of go based on what I've seen on Twitter.
If you don't want to talk about the Ethan stuff, when I joined, you guys were talking about J-Stalk and Hellbent. What's going on there? I've heard you guys were wondering why J-Stalk's name was.
I just don't like Hellbent.
You don't like Hellbent.
I mean, there's not a big like fucking there's not like a big thing on it.
Yeah, you people like safe targets. I find it very hard to believe you agree with
targets.
I find it very hard to believe you agree with Kuihman on every single point.
Hold on, on which point? Okay,
what do you disagree with Kuihman on? What do you disagree with Kuihman on?
What do I agree with him on? I like
disagree.
Everything he's saying sounds reasonable to me, and I just said I'm not.
So there's not a single position you've heard him give on relating to Strong that you disagree with him on?
It sounds reasonable.
So you agree with him on everything?
I wouldn't superbly agree with everything.
Okay, so what do you not agree with?
I don't think I disagree with anything at the moment because I don't have the information.
You people are cowards.
You fucking retards.
Aiden has retarded opinions because I'm the.
Bro, you want me
it's okay to shit on me. It's okay to shit on Hellbent. But then Kuihman comes in and your teeth are chattering. Your teeth. Wait, why don't we give this bitch Stacy Sparkle the mic? She seems to have a lot of disagreements. Why don't we bring this fat whore on?
If you want to talk to Stacy, you can.
Somebody bring this giant 800-pound gargantuan whale that's melting into her fucking chair from all the spilled soda that's corroding her skin, melting into the fucking chair. Bring her in. Let me talk to her.
I know people don't like it and people think it's gay, but I at the end of the day, I don't generally talk about shit I just don't know about. I'm not gonna make definitive statements and go down on my fucking sword. That's not gonna happen. That's not how I roll,
it's like, this guy's retarded. This guy says Kuihman Enters is like teeth chattering. All of a sudden, everybody miraculously fucking.
Fuck. Whoops. Fuck.
I enter, it's like, this guy's retarded. This guy says Kuihman Enters is like teeth chattering. All of a sudden, everybody miraculously fucking agrees. You're pussies.
Did I say you were retarded? I was combating what you were saying, and then Kuihman comes in and gives it like, wow, Kuihman, I think what you're saying is bad. And he's gonna ask me, okay, why do you think what I said is bad? And I'm gonna say, oh, I don't know. My dick is in my hand right now. Is that what you want me to do, Aiden?
I want you to bring in Stacy Sparkle.
Dude, I'll bring in Stacy Sparkles if she wants, dude.
If she wants?
Well, am I gonna force her in here?
Yes.
I'll invite her into the fucking speakers, dude. That's all I can do, dude. Is this because of the group chat stuff, by the way?
No, I'm just sick of the safe disagreeers, okay? That's what I like to call you people. You guys sit here, you disagree if you think you're going to get the backing of the majority of people in the room, okay? But when somebody who, like...
I just want to point out, by the way, I'm normally the guy at the beginning disliking people, and I get a lot of shit before Nick eventually spouts what I said. And then people are like, wow, Alex is right all along.
You know,
you two are like the same guy. You two are like the exact same guy. That's crazy. You and Aiden are like the same guy.
Hold on. Yeah, I just need to say, I'm being a little bit unfair to you, Alex. Okay, I'm kind of venting.
I want an apology, dude.
You know what, Alex? I am sorry to you. I'm not sorry, though, to Stacy Sparkle. But I'll be sorry to you. And Smaggle Daggle, by the way, who doesn't have an opinion on anything, just to be clear.
So where's this going, guys?
Well, Stacy ran. Anyone who disagrees with me and then never elaborates, they always run.
Dickers, Lumpy William, Poser want to call in. Should I let any of them in? I mean, I'll let Justical in. I'm not prepared to talk to him, but let him in. You know, I'll just let Lumpy William to let all those guys in. I don't know.
Wait, let Poser in. I think Poser's pro-Israeli.
Oh, do you want to debate him about Palestine and Israel?
Well, I just want to hear what he has to say.
Wait, I Wait, I
I
do have something to say. It's very interesting how everybody in the RFC group chat who was calling for Kuihman death, who was calling for Kuihman to be excommunicated from the community, all of a sudden, when Kuihman's on here, on the platform, ready to talk, nobody decides to come in and disagree with him.
Name names, Lumpy. Who am I off? Name names.
And I just want to say,
we have the confusing opinion. Spondyle was in here. Notice when Kuihman was talking, Spondyle was just all quiet here, taking it like a fucking bitch, dude. This guy, these people just go and talk.
Lil Froakie, all of them.
Yeah, Lil Froakie too.
How long ago were these messages? Were these recent?
Yeah,
this was like a month ago.
They were talking shit about me and Kuihman. They were talking shit about me and Kuihman, and then somebody added me to the group chat, and then all of a sudden, everybody's just like goes fucking silent and starts agreeing, and then I get kicked.
Fuck up, Jesus Christ! You are so fucking annoying. All right, anyway.
You're Jewish.
It's incredibly intimidating. I agree.
Let the other person speak. Not
wait. Why are you here? Did you have something to say?
Yeah, I just came to ask. I heard it got mentioned in here with Hellbent. What was going on earlier?
I don't like either.
So you were inserting yourself into the drama, J-Stalk. You were desperately inserting yourself into the drama again.
Was I?
And you get no viewers.
That was Aiden, by the way.
That was Aiden who said that, yeah.
No.
Aiden,
Okay.
Aiden. Oh, Aiden, now that J-Stalk is in here, he's
yeah.
backing down.
I've said this to his face. Okay, I've said this to his face. Yes, obviously the viewership decline happened after the Destiny stuff, and when he gets that good piece of Destiny content. I agree with Chud's statement. J-Stalk's ringing the dinner bell for the audience to come back.
I wish I got a boost from Destiny content, to be honest, but
no, I do. I have said this where I like J-Stalk, but I feel like J-Stalk has been framed by certain interested parties as like for some reason when people are addressing like the Kuihman spicy chat side, it feels like J-Stalk is like the first guy who's being name dropped, and I feel like he's not even like the main proponent of like any of this. So I don't understand why.
Yeah, I only get name dropped by people who are too cowardly to call out Kuihman, right?
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, like
that's what I meant.
Because you just don't have any connections with like the rest of the community, right? So you're kind of like.
Well, I also just am confused how I could be inserting myself when my comment was literally that. Like, stop naming me, stop talking about me, actually talk about the person you're mad about.
That was my point. You're getting fucking name dropped, and you're not even like a proponent of like.
Since
also, unless it's like excessive, like commentary is inserting yourself into a drama, giving your take about something that maybe you're not personally involved in, or if you aren't or if you are personally involved, then where's the insertion?
Wow, thank you, Dickers.
Huh? Alex,
you're real quiet, dude.
Wait, hold on. Is this Dick's enormous guy trying to call in?
Who?
Dick's enormous, bro.
I would just be curious what the criticism was from earlier. Was there an actual criticism?
No, bring it. Oh, yeah, but I bring him in, by the way.
Who is the host? Literally, like asleep at the wheel. Is Alex there? Is he dead?
That wasn't a bad joke. That's actually his name.
What, Theodore Dick?
No, not Theodore Dick.
Okay, no one's requesting retard. Actually, no, shut the fuck up. All right, I'm done. Listen, since Kuihman are just the glare in here, I guess I don't. So right now, are you on like Nick's blacklister right now or something? Because
I don't know. So J-Stalk got blacklisted ages ago when he asked to talk to Nick, and then Nick decided he didn't want to talk to him anymore.
That was the Willy stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on with me and Nick. Now, he did say at the end of the stream the other day, I assume you saw the Hellbent stuff, right, where she was coming into my chat and saying that Nick was manually timing out anyone that mentioned me or Chud. And then a bunch of people went over to Nick's chat, obviously, because of what Hellbent said, and started spamming my name and shit. So at the end of that stream, Nick was like, I'm going to raid Augie, but after this, I don't think I'm raiding anyone ever again. So it seemed like to me, he took it a little personally and took maybe some of the criticisms I'd had on my stream a little personally. Now, I had spoken to Nick a while ago, and he said basically, don't worry about people trying to stir drama, talk your shit. Don't worry about how I feel about stuff. Just talk your shit. So I assumed that relationship would be fine. But now I'm not so sure because he did seem a little bit in his feelings at the end of that stream.
Are the criticisms like he's pro to Ethan and like what we were kind of talking?
Yeah,
he's
about too pro Ethan. He's sort of I think he's abandoned a lot of his principles that he probably would have claimed in like the careful stuff about not targeting platforms or communities for behaviors that you can't link back to them. Obviously, it was like a key part of like this was a huge thing in the Destiny Careful's manifesto, which I'm sure everyone was huge fans of around here when it happened. It was a very key part that you can't blame these like ancillary disparate communities for behavior that doesn't actually happen on those platforms. There's always going to be some fucking psycho that takes information that's from a clip chimp and uses it to go and call CPS or a SWAT team or whatever. But you don't get to shut down the whole thing or like unless there's like some specific breaking of the TOS that's happening there, right? Or of morality if it's like a website on its own. And like he always said, if you want to take Kiwi Farms down for doxing, that's fine, but take it down for doxing. Don't come up with some other bullshit reason for why you're taking it down. And it feels the same with like snark stuff, right? So Ethan's using the CPS call, the sword, the skulls, whatever, to take down this subreddit, take down these people that are clipping his content, when that's not really what his issue with them is. His issue with them is that they say things that are either bad faith or disagree with him. And
okay, just say you're a Hasan fan. Just say you're a Hasan fan.
I'm not a fan. I'm friends with Hasan. We know each other personally.
Oh, gross.
I mean, that like I've said it before. It all sounds reasonable to me. I don't know. I haven't heard you say it, so maybe you're extra mean. I guess.
Can we get I'm quite mean.
I'm obviously
sound
mean.
Effect?
I'm obviously mean on my live stream, but I thought that was
the
game.
I mean, I'd be interested to hear. Like I said it before, I'd be interested to hear Nick like respond to that kind of stuff. I think like I've seen him make tweets, kind of saying like, "Oh, they'll find their next fucking target of the week."
Yeah. He replied to a tweet about me saying, "Yeah, he'll find his next villain of the week." Which is like, to suggest that Nick is my villain of the week right now. Like, if you've ever seen me cover someone, to suggest that Nick is my villain of the week right now or my target is like fucking absurd. When I haven't even posted like a single segment about him on my channel, like it's all just been here and there. Like I'm covering something related, and Nick comes up. And it's like, okay, well, obviously, I think Nick's abandoning his principles there. I'm not going to pretend otherwise.
All right, let's be honest. Let's be honest here. When you saw the Chud rant and he name dropped Nick, you were probably there kicking your feet with excitement. Let's be totally honest.
Yeah, because the narrative is set against me, and I know that I can utilize a bigger person saying it to try and push some of my talking points through. Right? It gives me an opening to talk about it. Of course, I'm sitting there kicking my feet.
Very tribe-like.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear a conversation between you two. To be honest, I don't know why he isn't doing that. I guess I don't know. That's weird. I've always like whenever like a new Nick video comes out where it's like a hate video or whatever. Like when Alberto released his, I thought he should have watched it on stream. Like I think it's interesting to hear him always respond to that kind of stuff. I don't know why he's not doing it with you, especially because you guys have been like cool for a while. So it is interesting for him not to do that. I don't know what his reasons are though. But I'd like to hear that conversation. I'd like what you were saying in
something, right?
What you were saying in this space sounds like an interesting conversation to me. So I think he should do it.
I think Nick's just like uninterested in anything that's going to bring him any kind of like negative attention, or that he feels like he could, kind of receive hate for, like the Cameron stuff recently. I mean, I know it's like club show drama, like nothing, but like, I mean, there's been some interesting stuff, and I think he's been pretty explicit that he doesn't want to cover it at all because there has been like a narrative circulating that he's like supportive of the guy because he like watches video on stream. I mean, I don't know if you, but I felt bad when I put out a tweet like talking about how Cameron was using Nick's name like in private, like behind the scenes, to like shout down other smaller commentary creators. And I felt bad watching the Nick clip because it felt as though he was like forced to respond to it, and I'd kind of like put him in an awkward position. But realistically, like surely that should have been like happy or like, just fine with like talking about it. But I think he just sees it as a topic that he could talk about and then kind of like give fuel to the hate against him or something like that. Which is a little bit too optics kind of concerned in the, I guess, the wrong way to like stop coverage or to not cover things that I don't know.
I don't know what you just said, but yeah, I think Kuihman. I think you should talk to Kuihman. I don't know. Even if Kuihman was like extra mean to him, Kuihman obviously has points behind him. He's not just like fatty bad. So you should talk to him.
Doesn't this Kuihman guy like lolicon? Why are we defending him?
True, dude.
Like, true. This guy's a pedophile or something.
Well, I mean, Augie likes Lolly now, so it's
yeah,
true.
That's true. That's
Dude,
cool. That's cool.
That fucking made me post Alex. So fucking funny. Holy fuck.
Alex likes Lolly. Spondyle likes Lolly.
It's true, dude. The community's fine with it now. We're all good,
bro. Except for me, because I'm the last one standing.
You're not part of it,
you guys.
dude.
Shut the fuck up, Alex. Alex, you're a Lolly lover, and I think you should die. All right.
It's true.
Anyways.
Okay, somebody told me that I was like mentioned at the start of this, so I decided to show up and just see if somebody had criticisms. But I feel like
it was just me saying I don't like you.
And Spondyle left. I think Spondyle's on the hate.
You just started this saying you don't like me.
Well, I started it saying I don't like Hellbent.
And you, because you're the two easiest targets.
What? No, I just want the criticism. You just said,
we had the conversation.
He doesn't
right?
just say fatty bad. So what's the actual criticism?
I had the conversation with you. It's the same stuff with that, and I just generally don't like it.
You had no criticism there either.
I did have criticism. If you go back and listen to the
you didn't. You just stuttered through it. You embarrassed yourself.
I had a guy. Hold on, wait. I had a guy there whose only purpose for being there was to cut me off every single time I fucking was about to say something. And then you go on, and
did you
like,
say your criticism?
Well, yeah. What's the beef? Let's hash out now.
I don't have this. It's been like 3 or 2 months now. I don't have everything in my mind.
It's the same criticism as before, but
it's the same criticism as before. But just like before, when I didn't have all the clips and tweets and shit ready to just spam to you, you're just gonna say nope, that's not true. And then what am I supposed to do? I'm sitting here with my dick in my hand.
Well, Alex, you can just search up on Twitter. It's very easy.
Or just kind of recall kind of what you were critical of at the time, right?
I did that before, and it didn't work out.
It's like a live conversation, you know?
No. I don't. The conversation's not going to have any value because I'm not ready, and I'm not particularly interested in having that conversation.
Just like one thing.
No, because one thing turns into a million. I'm not interested in it.
No.
I think Hitler said something like that. One thing turns into
I'm quoting him directly. Actually,
I agree.
I mean, the thing is as well, like I'm not even like hungry for Nick's blood. I don't know if that's what you think that I'm coming in here with. I just feel like there does seem to be on, I guess, like your side of commentary, like a reticence to like criticize each other or to have like friendly disagreements or disagreements at all.
Well, I mean, Nick, people debate all the time. I don't know why he's not talking to Kuihman. I don't know why. And I agree.
You can keep on obfuscating it to him talking to Kuihman.
What do you mean? What do you mean obfuscating? I think he should address whatever's being said to him, right?
Yeah, but every time that you have to consider something and maybe give an uncomfortable answer, you just say, "Well, you know, he should speak to Kuihman."
I'm not Nick, and I'm not like heavily informed on any of these dramas.
Not Nick.
The criticism is what's the criticism of me?
That your side of commentary doesn't give criticisms to each other because it seems as though you guys can't handle like friendly disagreements.
That's like completely not true, by the way. Like,
at least
for me, I've argued with Tipster, Flamenco, Bo Blacks. Fucking, if you go way back into my history, I was arguing with Paradise, who was like who was a community nobody. What'd you say?
I mean, you just listing all the people who've been like raped and like
where do you think it's
exiled from the community.
Yeah, where do you think it started? I'm not saying I'm the reason they went down, but I was definitely saying I was going against all those people way before Nick was making tweets about it, right?
Yeah, but the problem is, I'm saying that
there was not a like the whole narrative of like, oh, this is like a
people who ended up getting like completely raped and killed.
I mean, it starts out with friendly criticisms. If you go back to with Bo Blacks, I think one of my first critical tweets of him is saying, "Hey, I don't think he should have been in that Mr. Girl call because he was being a complete ape." Right? He was, and that was like what 2-3 years ago at this point.
That's not criticism.
That is criticism. He was acting like a child, and he shouldn't have been in it.
Who?
Bo Blacks.
Oh yeah. Not retard.
People don't just get the whole like narrative that like people just get like fucking molested instantly is like completely not true.
Normally, that's not what I was talking about at all. The problem is you either give the lightest criticism, like, oh, you shouldn't have been in that call, dude. You were like, freaking out. You weren't prepared for that environment, man. It's like, no, like, criticize a take they've given on the substance. Like, me and Aiden have debated about his take about AFPAC. Me and Kuihman have debated about our takes on, like, different drama. And at the end of the day,
APAC, to be clear.
Fine. What did I say?
AFPAC.
You said AFPAC. That's Fuentes. I didn't want anyone to think you supported.
The opposite, but yeah.
No, Aiden supports
Vickers
AFPAC.
is a big fan.
He does.
So your criticism of me is that we don't criticize each other in the community.
Well, I mean, yeah, and the basis of that is like, you've just been asked for, like, oh, okay, so what are you personally, like, critical about Nick about over this? And you can't give anything. You just say, well, Nick should talk to Kuihman.
Isn't the criticism in itself that he should talk to Kuihman and he should address what Kuihman's saying? Doesn't that kind of wrap all of it up into like one big bow tie?
No.
I've said repeatedly that I haven't kept up with the H3 situation in months at this point. So I don't have specific criticisms of him because I don't watch his coverage.
Yeah, but
it seems like Kuihman does. So I'm saying he should talk to Kuihman.
An hour now, like 2 hours. Like, is there anything that's like particularly resonated that you think is like apt criticism? Like,
everything that Kuihman said sounded completely reasonable to me, and I would like to see Nick respond to it. Yes, everything. Kuihman didn't come in here and say Nick is a fucking pedophile, loving fucking kid murderer, Zionist. He's saying, yeah, I think Nick is not living up to like what he said in the past. I think he's given up on some of his principles. Here are some examples of where I think he has. And I think those are all completely reasonable criticisms that I'd like to see Nick respond to.
Yeah.
When you say, am I supposed to list off every single thing Kuihman said in the fucking 2-hour call? I don't watch Nick's coverage, so I can't disagree with anything because I don't know what Nick has said specifically.
True.
I don't like this is a bit of a theme with me. I don't tend to like make definitive statements I don't give opinions on things I don't know about.
Yeah, I actually want to be fair. I've been a little unfair to Alex. We're kind of lumping in the whole RFC community with Alex here, but I just do find it funny that there is nobody in this community miraculously that has a disagreement with Kuihman now.
Aiden, can you please shut the fuck up?
Okay, can you give me an opinion on something? Can you give me an opinion on something?
Is this just the given opinion space?
Just give me wait.
An annoying little.
Wait. I'm about to. Can you give me an opinion you have on anything? Can you give me like just one opinion? Give me an opinion on something.
What do you want?
Just give me an opinion.
Is reasonable and
give me an opinion.
Hey, I just killed the Twitch. I just killed the Twitch stream. Just fuck that.
Agree with that.
Oh, okay.
In fact, I would be more on Kuihman's side, honestly, and I think someone like Nick or the commentary community shouldn't be discussing on these issues like Israel and Palestine because a lot of them they don't really research into any of these subjects. I don't think fucking and I don't know, man. It's just like I don't think any.
Just to be clear, I don't even think Nick shouldn't talk about Israel Palestine. Like at the end of the day, Asmongold is the biggest political commentator right now, so the standards are in the fucking pitch.
He doesn't shower.
So I don't think Nick shouldn't talk about it, but I think Nick should engage honestly and apply his principles across the board.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. And whenever I'm just like watching his streams or whatever, whenever he's just talking about like anti-Semitism or Zionist stuff, I don't, it always just makes me fucking roll my eyes, and I'm just always like, you don't even, you
don't give a fuck. You literally don't give a fuck. You don't know anything about this.
Yeah, you don't give a fuck. Yeah, don't act like that. You know about this fucking shit. Like you can talk about, you can talk about there are many criticisms to give about the IDF. There are many criticisms to give about fucking Palestine, and and I could, I could also just talk about how like in Zionist in the Middle East usually just refers to Jew, while in America we don't really, we see it as mostly two different things. And I don't think, Nick doesn't, he doesn't fact check, he doesn't clarify, and he, just blindly defends H3, even though just a couple of years ago, he Ethan has done like a bunch of fucked up shit, and I just don't really fucking I would say that I agree with Kuihman more, and I don't think Nick should even talk about this stuff.
Wow, dude, thanks for the opinion.
I just wonder if
what was actually the premise
specifying that opinion, where they just love all of Kuihman's opinions, if they've ever like gone to Twitter and shit on Kuihman.
But look,
Nick's opinion.
Most of these people, people don't shit on me. But Alex is Alex is great. Okay, we love Alex here.
But
I don't.
What was the sort of it feels like we're sort of bouncing around. What was the premise of the State of the Community address here today, Alex? Where was this heading? What did we really want to talk about?
All right, I'll tell you where it started. I saw a clip on Twitter where Hellbent was being a double agent to you. And then I saw Discord messages of Nick saying, yeah, my mod was sending these screenshots, and I don't like Hellbent. So I started this space to say I don't like Hellbent.
Awesome.
A double agent.
What a hero.
Are we going to pick apart every single thing I said? She's mods in both chats and then said, hey, Nick is timing people out. That's what I mean when I say double agent. Do you want me to like fucking define every word I say?
Alex, you're a pedophile.
Yeah, but the way that you talk about it kind of insinuates that like they're two opposing sides of something. It's not that deep.
My bad, Dickers.
That's all right, Alex. I love Hellbent. Unequivocal support for Hellbent. Why do you hate Hellbent, Alex?
Holy cringe. Holy cringe.
I mean, he's right. She was being like a little bit. I even think I said verbatim double agent. I think Alex is like kind of skinwalking with that one.
Yeah, I'm skinwalking Aiden with that one.
Yeah.
I love Hellbent too, but she doesn't participate in my chatter community. She just helps me out in like with random art stuff. So maybe if I had her participating in chat, I'd have a different opinion. I don't know.
All right, I gotta go, but I just want everyone to remember that fat bitch, Stacy Sparkle, never called in. Die.
I agree.
Fantastic.
W.
So what's your guys'
Can we
thoughts on the
actually add
hologram?
a new item onto the agenda for the state of the commentary community? I would like to
my bad. You know, I
that
actually should have.
we actually suggest, or sorry, we actually discuss why the commentary community appears to be about not stating opinions. Because that's like primarily what I'm seeing in this space so far. It's just people not stating opinions
that I don't follow.
No, just we're like Kuihman asked what this is about. You said it's just about Hellbent. That's not what
we hate Hellbent.
I'm just like
we fucking hate
the community. Actually stakes out opinions on things.
I'm sorry for clickbaiting you.
Well, I mean, I think the problem is that I kind of lightly prod Alex as well by saying like, I love Hellbent. What's wrong with Hellbent? And he just says that's cringe. Like,
dude,
even an incredibly popular opinion that like 99% of people in the space will agree with.
I didn't know that it was
I give him the lightest push, and he doesn't even like.
I just don't like her.
Scratch beneath the surface, and there's nothing.
To be fair, Dickers, it's not like that broad because Nick's community are just like, oh, Hellbent makes the Wigglers. That's awesome. These look like shit. Wow, these look like shit. I love these. And then
I got like 50
general,
replies saying that I'm like a dick sucking fucking loser. Like this whole thing where it's like I just go with the popular opinion. I don't think you. If I was going with the popular opinion, wouldn't have I just like blanketly agreed with like anyone pressing me in this space? It should. I don't have a strong opinion on anything mentioned, so why am I gonna fucking fall on my sword? That's retarded.
Because you're a pedophile.
Do you have a strong opinion on anything?
I mean, do you want me to be honest? I haven't really followed the community in years. Like, I don't watch content. I'm in the RFC group chat, and I kind of like the people around here, but I'm not super into like the drama at this point anymore. I follow like, why do you think my whole account is like 80% Bobla? Because it's like the only story in the past 2 years that's caught me.
It's just bullshit. Yeah.
I'm not like a commentary creator. I don't like watch people. I don't watch many people. Like even with Augie, I don't even like the RFC show. I like Augie more as like a fucking like variety streamer than as like a commentary YouTuber. Right, Dickers?
Too right.
I'm getting lumped in with the RFC community, which I mean that's fine. I guess like to most people I might be. I'm like at the head of their
associated. You're in the group.
Yeah, I am in the RFC community.
This space is titled "State of the Commentary Community Address."
Yeah, you're having the same complaint as JStog right now. You got clickbaited, bro. Stop seething. Okay, come up with either. You and JStog are being so gay. I'm not gonna lie. Just state an opinion. Just state an opinion. Come up with a topic and ask for an opinion, retard. If you want an opinion. Say so. What's your opinion on the state of the commentary community right now, Dickers? Give us some thoughts. Give us some hot takes on the state of the commentary community right now. You're a speaker.
I will say, I'm basically Yugoslavia, okay? I'm right in the middle of this.
Wow, nice one. So you've got no opinion, you fucking retard. Okay, great. So it's a community about not stating opinions, huh? Okay.
Stickers, you joined the fucking space called the State of the Commentary Community. You're not going to give a take.
Can be a little bit too harsh sometimes. We're losing the ground for reasonable, friendly disagreement. Okay, sometimes it gets a little bit too hot, and people get raped, undeservedly raped. Okay. Unfortunately, there's nothing to really criticize on the RFC side because there's just like no internal debate.
Not true. I am the internal debate, but only on shit that I know about.
You just said you had no opinions.
Give me something to have in it. Give me throw any number of times. Am I supposed to?
You say you don't even follow the community.
What you're asking me right now
about anything.
What you're asking me right now is to have a list of like specified topics I can talk about. All right, you know, Dickers, ask me about Paradise. Ask me about Paradise, Dickers. I'll give you a take on Paradise.
Who the fuck is Paradise?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What am I supposed to like? I don't watch every single thing that goes on in this community. And what you're saying right now is, since I said that, I'm like just giving like a fucking like I can't have a take on anything ever, or I never have a take on anything ever, which isn't true. I just don't follow this as close. On what? We've been talking about H3. We've been talking about fucking H3 for like 2 hours, and I didn't follow the story super hard.
Communicated inside the community. I mean, I'm trying to be fucking easy on you. I'm trying to be light and light touch.
I'll give you
generally about the RFC community. You complained a second ago that you've been lumped in with the RFC community. I've said fair play, and now you didn't let me finish that statement. I was going to say that. So go ahead. What was the last thing you had a big disagreement over?
Well, I think Monica is way better than the fucking Yuki and what's it, Natsuka. I don't think those are good girls. I think Monica's way better than all
bro.
of them.
You literally said you busted.
So that was a big disagreement. Like, what you just want me to list like any opinion I've ever had? I can't. I couldn't even think of anything right now.
Church Kuihman group and doing the RFC group. There doesn't seem to be like kind of vociferous internal debate. And then you step.
Well, a lot of us don't really interact.
Actually,
with each other.
It's our fucking lolly waifus. I like this lolly waifu.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Augie, that's what I do. He much like Shishuka.
I don't know if you know this, but Augie hasn't really streamed in like fucking years. So like, there's not like the community, the RFC community is people who like found Augie when they were in like fucking freshmen in high school, like fucking 5 years ago. And I've just like generally liked him since then.
Mine was
like that. That's the RFC community.
Okay.
Like, what do I disagree with people on? I don't know. I thought it was cringe when they were shitting on Aiden in the group chat, and then when he got added, that they like fucking like threw a fit. And if you go to me and Aiden's DMs, I literally like tell him that, and I said that in the group chat. I think I made a tweet saying they were cowards. So is that a disagreement, or is that not enough? Is that like fucking?
I tried to make this quite general. You take it quite personally, despite already conceding you don't really give takes on drama. I don't know why you're trying to fight me on this.
You're saying
you don't give takes on drama.
I don't give takes on drama that I don't know about, which tends to be most of them.
Which is nothing over the last 2 years, apparently, except for Boblack's wearing a dress.
Well, my issues with Boblack's go way deeper. All right, it's that he's trans, not just that he wears a dress.
You slob him.
It's like you've come in here with just like a general idea of me, and then you don't have like you're just like saying shit, and it's like, okay, it should. What am I supposed to like? What am I supposed to respond to?
I mean, I'm trying to find out what you even.
I'm having a problem
just talking about the RFC community, and then you decide to take that personally.
Which is the community I kind of align with.
Kind of aligned with. I mean, if you don't think my critique applies to the general community, then find me on that. What I'm talking about whether you've had internal disagreements.
I'd probably agree with your take that like most people in the community. I would agree that like most people in the community are sheep. I think I made a tweet recently saying that. That's true.
So you even agree with me on that? Okay.
What am I supposed to disagree with you on that?
Agree or disagree? I'm to disagree with me.
I'm just so I'm confused what the problem
I
here
can
is.
tell.
I am confused. It just seems like I don't even know where it's like coming from. I don't in my brain I can't even visualize what is happening right now. I can't the argument doesn't make sense to me. And I say, okay, what's the argument?
I laid out quite
clearly.
Oh, well,
yeah, your argument.
The church and the Kuihman space has fractious disagreement between itself, but sometimes it can spill out, and there isn't room for friendly disagreement sometimes. And then your space has very, very little to no disagreement in between, like, obviously on drama topics. I don't care who your fucking waifu is.
I mean, does Nick calling into RSC and fucking debating about Willie, does that count, or is that one too long?
Still, dude, if you agree that everyone's a sheep, why even try and fight me on that? You can just say, yeah, true.
The people like the general retards in the audience, yes. But I don't think that's true for the creators.
Obviously, I'm talking about creators.
Well, there's like 2 creators. It's Nick and Augie. Who else is there? Fucking Connor. Internet versus. Like, bro, the community is dead.
There's a Willie Slackjaw.
Well, I like Willie, so I'm not gonna shit on him. But I mean, he doesn't even really interact with like this at all. Really,
he's number 1 guy.
You don't like Willie, dude?
Yeah, he's a top guy.
Is it because of the fucking Destiny video?
No, it's because of all of his videos.
Do you think they're too broad?
I think they're fucking like just content? Yeah, pure slop. Every Hasan video is a pure rip of our Destiny.
You're gay.
The Destiny video was like lame as fuck, obviously. Even the second Destiny video was kind of mid. And he's also a complete F. You know, sorry, I'm getting a fucking donut. I'm streaming right now. Sorry, 1 second.
Betrayed by the transition to gender logo.
Okay, so this fucking guy. Oh no, right. This is what Willie argues. Jay Stalk and Kuihman should thank me for putting Destiny's death threat against them in my video, because that gave them a warning. He didn't tell us about it. He didn't say that weeks ago, before he posted that video, hey, I was in a private call with Destiny, and he started saying he wants to fucking kill you in real life. But then he says, you should be grateful for me putting this in my video. What sort of fucking retarded logic is that? What sense does that make?
And in the second video, he follows.
That was in the second video.
Yeah, and then the second video, he's like, "Yeah, well, I don't like Kuihman, so it's actually based that he's getting death threats." By the way, it's really terrible that Sean DeBlack and Mike from PA make jokes about putting hits out on Destiny. That's really terrible, and it's really bad that they're attacking Destiny's life like that. It's like it's beyond parody.
Argue back, or will he just concede to the argument? Let's see.
I'm gonna make Dickers really mad here. I didn't watch the second video. So sorry about that one, Dickers. It seems like I'm gonna go with the latter here. I mean, with a general regards with Willie, I mean, I've liked Willie for a long time, but I think like fucking like a baker's dozen videos on Hasan is kind of like I kind of stopped watching him after all that because I think the topic's really boring, and I mean it's shit like I already saw Destiny say. So I mean, like, yeah, I mean they're kind of like DGG clips best moments videos, I guess. But I don't think that necessarily makes them bad. They're just not for this audience, I don't think. Do you think that's fair? Or do you think that's like completely fucking retarded? We don't criticize each other.
I think that's a question for you, Dickers.
Before, I don't know. It seems like you only give criticism when you're actually prompted.
My bad. Is that not how criticism works? Am I supposed? Am I? Do you want me?
Joining on a bandwagon, or like
should I?
For like the weakest form of a critique.
That's all I do, dude. I'm Mr. Bandwagon over here. Like this fucking this criticism is like just complete nonsense. It's just like you asked me to give a take, and then when I give a take, you say, "Oh, well, it just sounds like you're disagreeing with us." It's like, "Oh yeah,
you don't give a take. You just agreed with Kuihman's take."
I laid out why I think that. By the way, I didn't repeat what Kuihman said. I literally like gave an example of like why I think that. But yeah, dude, this is just like complete. It's just fucking retarded. What to take? What to take you up, Dickers? What do you think? What do you think, Dickers? Give me your take, dude.
On the Willie Max stuff.
No, on everything, dude.
Okay.
Give me a take.
I love Tatsiki-san.
Sure, dude. You see how retarded that is? Just like going up to someone and saying, "Give me a take." Like it's fucking.
Well, that's no, I said on the Willie Max stuff, and you said no, and now you want my take on everything. I said I wanted your take on anything.
I've given like several takes here, and it's just like a completely like non-argument. I don't know.
Okay, well, I do have a different take on the Willie Mack stuff. I think that his
what's
videos
the
are generally
take?
fine. He does have some kind of like, he does have some errors. He could have phrased stuff better, but realistically, video essays get like very, very little charity.
You know, in his latest video
on
the iDub stuff or whatever it is, Ethan Hasan Destiny shit. His latest video, he mentioned the Nazi sword 22 times. Are we aware of this?
22. I mean, if it was like 21, that'd be something, but like 22, bro.
You can disagree with his arguments being retarded and like driven by the community. But in terms of like factuality and how he then chooses to present stuff, I think that it's like I'm talking specifically about the Destiny stuff. I don't actually watch his iDubbbz video. But yeah, I mean that's my take.
I mean,
like
wouldn't that
isn't from the DGG sphere with like DGG sphere or X Twitch ball sphere? When realistically, I think that like Willie Mack does not have the kind of intimate knowledge that a lot of other people just kind of take for granted. There we are. That's how you do it.
That's true as well.
Differing opinion.
That's true as well, dude. It doesn't go against what I said at all. I said his videos are for a different audience, and they're generally broader, which is true, which is what you just said.
I feel like you see like a large amount of animosity from me, Alex. It's not.
I'm really, well, if you go to my profile and you look at the pinned tweet, it says, anytime I'm arguing with anyone, I am mad, I do care, and I am like mad about it or whatever. That's
and
what's
you are
going on
retarded.
here. True.
You are retarded. Yeah.
I don't have any animosity towards you dickers. Actually, I was disappointed when Cameron kicked you out of the call because Cameron got real happy after that, and I didn't like that. But
anytime that man is happy, I'm sad.
Yeah,
and viscerally angry.
I don't know. I guess like I don't know where else this is going. This kind of, but I do think like I guess the major topic here is Nick, and I mean, I guess if Nick's not going to talk to you, I would prefer if he gave a reason why. So like I can criticize that or agree with that. So I guess that's where I'm kind of at with there. Everything you said in this call, specifically Kuihman, sounded reasonable to me. I mean, it's shit that makes sense like in my head. So I'd be curious to see what his problem with what you're saying is, besides you being like mean or something.
All right, awesome. Well, I mean, I'm gonna probably bounce out of it now. It sounds like this is wrapping up. So
yeah.
All right, catch you guys later.
See you, bro.
Wow. Okay. Give me like 2 seconds, guys. Sorry, I went right into stream today because I saw that Twitter space starting up. I was listening to it, and then I wanted to get in and argue because Aiden was making points I didn't fully agree with. So I just started stream.